As Ozoemena sat in his shop, thinking about the challenge, he knew this was his biggest test. Would he be able to make something special in just 3 days? Once upon a time, in the village of Amukwa, there was a tailor named Ozoemena. Ozoemena was not just any tailor. He was the best in the village. His stitches were neat, his designs were beautiful, and he never disappointed anyone. People in the village loved him because he always made their clothes just the way they wanted. But not everyone was happy about Ozoemena's success. The other tailors in Amukwa were very jealous of him. Whenever someone was unhappy with their work, they would say, "Why can't you sew like Ozoemena?" This made the other tailors very angry. They started to lose their customers because everyone wanted Ozoemena to make their clothes. One day, the jealous tailors came up with a plan to chase Ozoemena out of the village. They went to visit the king, Igwe Ezudo. They told the king, "Igwe, we want to sew your clothes for the New Yam Festival and we will do it for free." The king laughed and said, "Why would I let you sew my clothes when I have Ozoemena, the best tailor in the village?" The tailors replied, "Igwe, the only reason people say Ozoemena is the best is because we have not been given a chance to show our skills. We propose a challenge. Let all the tailors in the village design your clothes for the New Yam Festival, and you will see that Ozoemena is not as great as everyone says." The king thought about it and said, "But my clothes for the festival are almost ready. Ozoemena has been working on them for over a month." The tailors insisted, "Igwe, cancel those clothes and give us all a chance. You will see who the real best tailor is, and we suggest the challenge should only last 3 days." After some thought, the king agreed. He sent out a message to all the tailors in the village, announcing the challenge. When Ozoemena heard the news, he was surprised. The king called him and said, "Ozoemena, I'm sorry, but the clothes you made for me will not be used for the New Yam Festival. There is going to be a competition and you must join." Ozoemena nodded and returned to his shop. He had only 3 days to make new clothes for the king. But the other tailors were not worried about winning. They just wanted to see Ozoemena fail. They were sure he could not make something as perfect in such a short time. As Ozoemena sat in his shop, thinking about the challenge, he knew this was his biggest test. Would he be able to make something special in just 3 days? He didn't know what the other tailors were planning, but he was determined not to let them ruin his reputation. 4 days before the New Yam Festival, King Ezudo called all the tailors to his palace. The tailors arrived, some feeling nervous, others still confident that they could outdo Ozoemena. The king stood before them with a serious expression on his face and declared the competition open. "My dear tailors," the king began, "for the next 3 days, you will sew the clothes for the New Yam Festival right here in the palace. My guards will be watching to make sure everything is done fairly. I have provided sewing machines, materials, and everything you need. You are also free to eat and drink anything you like during your stay." The jealous tailors were shocked. They had not expected this. Some of them had already started sewing the clothes in secret, hoping to have an advantage. Others had even hired expert tailors from a nearby village to help them. Now, with the king's guard watching, they realized they couldn't use any of their tricks. They exchanged worried glances, unsure of what to do next. But Ozoemena simply smiled. He remembered the clever condition he had given the king when he agreed to participate in the challenge, that everyone must sew in the palace under the watchful eyes of the king's guards. He had known that the other tailors might try to cheat, so he wanted to make sure everything was fair. The competition began, and the first thing the tailors were served was breakfast. Each tailor was asked what they wanted to eat. The jealous tailors, still thinking they could somehow outlast Ozoemena, ordered heavy meals with lots of meat and plenty of water. They wanted to fill their stomachs so they could work all day without getting tired. Ozoemena, on the other hand, asked for a very light meal and just a glass of water. He knew that eating too much would make him feel sluggish and tired. He wanted to stay sharp and focused. After breakfast, the tailors began working. The competition was in full swing as the tailors took their positions, cutting and sewing the fabric provided by the king. The sound of sewing machines filled the palace as each tailor tried to create the best outfit for the king. The jealous tailors, still feeling uneasy, glanced at Ozoemena from time to time. He worked steadily, his hands moving quickly and skillfully, just as they always did. But not long after they started, the jealous tailors began to feel the effect of their heavy breakfast. One by one, they grew tired and started to doze off, their eyes heavy from overfeeding. Meanwhile, Ozoemena worked steadily, his hands never slowing down. As evening approached on the first day, the jealous tailors realized they had made very little progress. Some of them had barely begun, while others were still confused about what to sew. Ozoemena, on the other hand, continued working with focus and determination, never distracted by the noise or the other tailors around him. As night fell, Ozoemena kept working, even as the palace grew quiet and the other tailors slept. The guards tried waking them up, but their eyes were too heavy with sleep, and they couldn't focus on their work. Ozoemena, however, stayed awake, his mind sharp and his hands steady. By the time the third day arrived, the day before the New Yam Festival, the tailors were told they had until 12 noon to finish their work. Panic set in among the jealous tailors as they realized how far behind they were. They hurriedly tried to complete their outfits, but the rush made them careless. They didn't have enough time to make the proper measurements or finish the designs they had planned. At noon, the tailors were asked to present their finished apparel to the king. The king tried on each outfit one by one. The first tailor's clothes were too tight, making the king feel uncomfortable. The second tailor's clothes were too short, barely reaching the king's knees. The third tailor's outfit was oversized and baggy, looking unpleasant and making the king look awkward. Finally, it was Ozoemena's turn. The king put on Ozoemena's clothes and immediately smiled. The outfit fit him perfectly. The fabric draped elegantly over his shoulders. The stitches were neat and the design was beautiful. Everyone in the palace admired the outfits, and the king was overjoyed. "You have not disappointed me, Ozoemena," the king said with a broad smile. "You have proven once again that you are the best tailor in this village. From today onward, you and your descendants shall be the royal tailors, and you will receive a generous salary and other rewards." The jealous tailors hung their heads in shame. Their plan to disgrace Ozoemena had failed, and instead, they had only embarrassed themselves. Ozoemena's hard work and dedication had earned him the king's favor and secured his future. In this story, we learned that hard work, honesty, and dedication will always triumph over jealousy and deceit. When you focus on your craft and give your best, success will follow, no matter how others try to bring you down. This is Umma's story time. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. I am Amarachi Ihoma, the young storyteller.